Welcome to my house. Play that music too loud. Show me what you do now. We don't have to go out. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my house.
Hello everyone, welcome to a wrestling prediction video here from the CC Network. I'm Freddie Thomas, your ever reliable host, and I know I said a couple months ago that I wouldn't be doing any more predictions videos, but the thing is, it's WrestleMania, and therefore I thought, as for the second year running I'm not going to be going, it's inevitably good to know that I can get my viewpoints out there. Also to all my friends going, which is OK, Fabe, Rico, Nichiko 30, and I think many others, lucky you guys. I'll be sitting here watching on Sunday, and I hope I can spot you all in the crowd. It should be a lot of fun. Anyway, getting on to this event, because I know a lot of people are looking at this card, looking at this entire event and thinking, this is going to be a rubbish WrestleMania, aren't they? I mean, we've had injuries galore up and down the card to male and female performers, stripping even the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal of any distinct flavour. And inevitably, I know a lot of people are saying that this card is awful compared to what it could have been, and therefore this entire show is predictable as hell, and it's going to suck. Let me remind you that WrestleMania 30 and WrestleMania 31, the last two, both had rubbish-looking cards, and the build-up wasn't the best it could be. But they ended up being two of the best of all time, so honestly, you guys have nothing to really complain about based on the recent track record, which is why I feel a lot more positive than I rightfully should be looking at WrestleMania 32, hoping that this will not be like WrestleMania 29, where the build was rubbish and the event itself was rubbish. Hopefully the over 100,000 people crossing fingers that are attending this show can make it feel amazing. We have 11 matches on this card, and I do not know at this moment which ones are on the pre-show or not, because they've been flip-flopping from place to place. Hopefully, when it comes down to the review on, say, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, it'll be a lot easier to review based on what we know. Anyway, let's get right into the matches. First up, we have a match that I know is definitely on the pre-show, and it is the 10 Diva Tag Team matchup, with Team Total Divas consisting of Brie Bella, Alicia Fox, Paige, Natalya, and Eva Marie. Yes, you heard me right, Eva Marie, and that was the right reaction to boo her out of the building, WWE. She's a heel, what are you thinking? Taking on Team Bad and Blonde, which is actually much more fun than Team Bad ever was, because the name is fun, which consists of Naomi, Tamina, Lana, Emma, and Summer Rae. Now, usually, I take a look at matches and say, you know what, I hate people who say that we're going to have a bathroom break during a match. The thing is, in the one exception I'm ever going to lay out, this is that. For me, I hate having matches that exist primarily as filler, as you know, because unannounced matches are my chagrin. This match, I have absolutely zero interest in. It was built up off of a show I don't watch, and inevitably it's going to be a match on a pre-show that I probably won't check into, because I believe it's not actually going to be on the network, but on the USA network instead. If it is on the network, I'm just going to skip it, because as you know, pre-show matches aren't on my card. Anyway, why am I still talking about this? My viewpoint is this. Eva Marie will probably turn heel and cost Team Total Divas the match. I'm giving Team Bad and Blonde the win. Yes, I am telling everybody that the WrestleMania broadcast, if it does start with this match, will kick off with a heel victory. I know, heel victories on the pre-show, you must be insane. I might be, but inevitably that's where I'm going to go with this one. Next, we have a tag team grudge match, the Usos versus the Dudley Boyz, and considering that this was a match that was quite highly hyped on television, I'm surprised this is going on the pre-show, if indeed that turns out to be the case, because this match honestly probably should be a tables match and should be on the main show. It is a little bit baffling, and I know so many people are going to complain thinking, the Dudley Boyz on the pre-show, are you mad? Well, they are enhancement talent, folks. They're not high up the rankings. They would have already won the tag titles by now if that was the case. Anyway, this match is cut and dry. I don't even need to talk about it because the Usos are going to go over the Dudleys. I am pretty darn certain. You don't even need me to explain because it's the younger team. It's old school, new school. You know how that works. I know in the one case that was done, Taker beats Cena at Vengeance 2003, you know it could completely backfire, especially if this is a series of matches. But of course, the Usos haven't really looked their hottest, especially since returning back in October. They haven't really lit the soul on fire. So hopefully if this pre-show match can do that, maybe people could start caring about the Usos some more. Maybe I could care, but they're gonna beat the Dudley Boyz, and that's pretty much all I need to say about that. Next, we look at the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, the third consecutive, if you can believe. And it contains, at the moment of recording here, 16 participants. I'm not going to read them all off because you've already heard me read off 10 divas and your minds are falling asleep. Nonetheless, I'm happy that there is still a decent amount of people in this match despite all of the injuries. However, like I've said already, the roster for this one doesn't look that impressive. I mean, you've got a few well-respected names like a reigning champion Big Show, Kane, Damien Sandow, Mark Henry, Goldust, Jack Swagger. There's a few names in there that pop out, but none really say to you like this win would do anything for them. Especially considering that Sandow could have won last year and it would have been an amazing block to shoot from, considering the Mizdow gimmick was such a success. But look at him now, a year later, and nothing has really happened. Thanks, WWE. Anyway, looking at this match, it could easily be Big Show and Kane's big final hurrah, even though neither of them want to retire anytime soon, because honestly, this is the kind of place they are now. Enhancement talent who are really there to bolster the roster, especially at a time like this, and I don't see them being around much longer. Same with Mark Henry, and a few others in there actually, who are from the Attitude Era and kind of need to let the young people from NXT come through and then refill and redistribute those spots. Nonetheless, the final 4 spots in this, of a 20-man Battle Royal, if I'm not mistaken, would have been filled by the whole Wyatt family, but with the sad news of Luke Harper's torn ACL, he is going to be out for 6 to 8 months, and that is another horrible injury to put on WWE's list. And I look at this a little bit irritated, because you could imagine the entire Wyatt family just tearing through stuff. The good thing is they still can. I mean, the idea of having Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt absolutely destroy everybody and have those two left at the end would be amazing. In fact, if the Wyatt family are in this Battle Royal, I would definitely give Braun Strowman the victory here, because the guy is a freaking mammoth. He took Big Show out of the Royal Rumble, so lo and behold, I can piece the two together that he will be the one to take the reigning champion out of it. If Bray is in here, though, he needs to win, because he hasn't won anything in 3 years of being on the main roster, and that is terrifying, considering a man who has been in many main event programs. He's only had one championship match, which I believe was the replacement ladder match when Daniel Bryan got injured at Money in the Bank 2014, I believe, was his only championship match. He needs to win this to rocket his ship right up to the top where he needs to be. So would I jeopardize Braun Strowman's growth for giving Bray Wyatt an accolade? Oh, hell yes. So if these two don't actually appear, and some other people like Samoa Joe or some other people from NXT come through to fill out the numbers, I would probably give it to them, but I'm not even hedging my bets on that at the moment because I want that to be a surprise for me. I'm going to go for Bray Wyatt or Braun Strowman. I don't know which of the two, so I'm hoping the match will dictate itself and I won't have to worry. But lo and behold, if neither of those two win, who else will? Because I have no idea. And finally, out of the pre-show matches, I have no idea. I thought the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, I heard, was going to be put on the main card instead. The booking is not concrete and it's confusing me. Someone tell me. Anyway, a match that I'm disappointed is on the pre-show. Kalisto defending the US title against Ryback, because I was actually looking forward to watching this one on the main show and reviewing it, because I wanted to see the chemistry and the story between these two. Because the feud, while it has been a little bit of a slow burner that hasn't really caught the fans' imagination because, well, it's Ryback, inevitably, this match could be decent. I mean, you think about it. The fact that Ryback's better than he ever has been. I mean, he's faster, his charisma is a little higher than usual, and inevitably he's in a spot where he could win his second piece of singles gold. You can't go wrong with that. And while Kalisto has had a solid reign, he's looked weak and lacking the ability to really get through his opponents quickly, which will play to Ryback's strength of just absolutely mauling the living crap out of whoever hell he's against. And that will come into play with this match, hoping to allow him to control pace. And sure, I know Kalisto beat Connor in, 4-5 minutes? And he's a little bigger than him. But then again, you look at Ryback and he's freaking massive. So I can sense from that twice the power and the size will be too much for Kalisto. And to say that is a good thing, because it took Kalisto upwards of 10 minutes each time to get rid of Del Rio. So, if it takes him 10 to 14 minutes to beat Alberto Del Rio, it'll take very little time for Ryback to absolutely manhandle the luchador and get the victory. And you know, if Sin Cara wasn't in the Intercontinental title ladder match later on, I would have predicted that he'd take Ryback's advice up and become a singles guy, because it's much better by betraying Kalisto here. I mean, it could still happen, having the surprise heel turn, breaking news coming into WrestleMania's main broadcast to have him go into the ladder match having made a heel turn earlier on. The pre-show needs something to spark people into life. That could be it. But anyway, despite Kalisto proving to be the fighting champion who doesn't give up, the usual face shtick, he doesn't stand a chance here. Ryback has the victory pretty much confirmed, because if Kalisto can beat Ryback, I will take a hat somewhere in my house, I will cook it, and I will eat it, because I do not think in any situation that this luchador can win here. If he does, well, I'll be damned. I underestimated WWE's booking and ability, but we will find out on Sunday whether this is the case. Now we break onto the main card. We start with the 4-on-3 handicap match. The New Day versus the League of Nations. Now, before I get into this, let me tell you guys something. When the League of Nations formed back in November, I said, I believe in my TLC predictions, or somewhere around that time period, that by the time WrestleMania comes around, the League of Nations will be either tag champions or fighting for the tag team championships at WrestleMania. I'm kinda half right. I mean, they're against the tag champs, and that is something. I can at least be happy to have predicted that ahead of time. But it makes me really happy, I can't help it. Nonetheless, the League of Nations have looked strong here in the build-up, destroying the New Day a few weeks ago, but they've been continuously overshadowed by their counterparts. I mean, the New Day turning face arguably was one of the decisions that had to be done. They were over as hell. They needed to be turned face. And I honestly can't see the New Day losing now that they've recently had a face turn. Because if they were still heels and this was somehow a heel versus heel match for the tag belts, or at least they could have lost it in the meantime, that would have been okay for me. Or if it was a fatal 4-way tag like we've had at the last 2 Manias, that would have been okay too. But the New Day are on such a roll, they need to keep their momentum, especially with the coach endorsing Bootios, for God's sake. They need to keep the momentum going, and the League of Nations are going to lose as a result. The tag titles are not on the line. If they were on the line, I would give League of Nations the win, because honestly, their reign's gone on for long enough. You need a title change somewhere, and allowing the New Day as faces chasing to see how they work. But because the titles, I believe, at this time of recording are not on the line, the New Day are firm favourites here. Next, we focus our attention to the Intercontinental Championship 7-man ladder match. Not 7-person ladder match, damn it, PC will not be killed here. And it takes Kevin Owens, Intercontinental Champion, and pitting him against Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, Stardust, Sin Cara, and Zack Ryder. Now, I know Zack Ryder's been put in here because Neville got injured right before WrestleMania, denying us of the amazing moment of a red arrow off a ladder onto absolutely everybody. You can tell that was the spot they were going to build for here. But I will give Zack Ryder some credit because he's worked hard, he's had patience waiting, and now he's being given a WrestleMania match with his full entrance music. I cannot deny how good that is. Nonetheless, The Miz, Stardust, and Sin Cara have absolutely no chance here. They're just here to buff out the numbers. Although The Miz might do, he's probably not going to. And I would love love Zack Ryder to win because that would be an amazing surprise. And honestly, the crowd would pop like complete and utter nutcases that we know they are. They would love this. However, it would just be a bit out of the blue and a bit crazy. I don't think WWE would take their booking direction that far away from the norm. You see, this match, as we've noted from the build-up, is all about Zayn and Owens, and this is going to set up their post-Mania rivalry, and it is going to be absolutely glorious. The thing is, though, I know a lot of people out there are predicting Sami Zayn to win because he needs to overcome Owens somehow. The thing is, I don't think it's going to happen at WrestleMania. I really don't. And I can sense a possible finish here. I don't normally like to predict finishes, despite the fact I did it for the main event of last year's WrestleMania and got it spot on. I might as well take a shot while I can. I had a feeling that this match will boil down to both Zayn and Owens going for the belt. One of them, aka Zayn, climbs up and is about to reach it, but just like Edge and Benoit at the first Money in the Bank ladder match 11 years ago, why not have Owens whack the shoulder, the repaired shoulder of Sami Zayn, which I would say is targeted the entire damn match because that's how you sell psychology, damn you. And inevitably, Owens wins off of that, playing into a very aggressive, very intense, very violent feud going through the spring and into the summer, because that would be brilliant. And not to mention the fact that Owens, he needs to kind of show people that he is the man for the future, that why WWE have stuck so much stock in him over the past year. Because you wouldn't go into your first WrestleMania after beating John Cena in your first main event roster match and then lose at Mania. I know it's for the benefit of the story, and you guys know I am a huge Kevin Owens mark. The reason why he won, I think, 5 of my Wrestling Rant awards, 5 of the big ones last December. But the thing is, Kevin Owens winning this would actually make more sense, because when Zayn finally picks up the victory in whatever match it is, whether it's at Payback, Extreme Rules, Battleground, wherever you can name it, it will get the massive pop that it deserves. And I know WrestleMania would be a great place, but he hasn't been involved in the main roster long. Less than a month, actually, if you want to be exact. And I would say to WWE, hold off the Zayn push a little. Give Kevin Owens, who won the title back in February of all times, to at least solidify himself. Because if he's going to be the main event player in the future, having him lose his debut Mania match will not look good. So I'm going to give Kevin Owens the victory here, despite all judgment stating that I would inevitably be wrong. Let's hope that I'm not in this case. Now we get to the grudge match that was only signed to contract this past week, despite the fact it's been building ever so slowly since January. It's mind-boggling. It really is. And it is AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho, and I really wanted a 2 out of 3 fall stipulation on this son of a bitch, but we're not going to get it, which is a bit disappointing, but what more can you do? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't need to talk about this one for too long because you guys can pretty much guess what is going to happen here. Their Fastlane match was quick, close to call, and very physical. It is going to be a very well wrestled match from 2 in-ring masters, because there aren't that many left in this world, especially in WWE's sake. So let's hope that they can build that. However, it'll add more psychology elements due to Jericho's aggression, and it should prove to be a very entertaining match. Considering that the Fastlane match, I think, got 3 3/4 stars from me, I'm hoping for better. I'm hoping for a 4-star plus match from both of these guys, knowing they can. So hopefully it will be done. And the thing is, it's easy to predict the winner. AJ Styles may have won come Fastlane, but that's because they were trying to make sure people knew, oh dear God, this guy is good, and you need to know it. In the case of now, either man could win, but I'm pretty certain after all that Jericho has put him through, AJ Styles will be the man to put Jericho's big match career to rest. I'm pretty certain this will be Jericho's last WrestleMania in ring, and it'll be the perfect way to have him go in a match against a guy of equal caliber. And hopefully it'll be a very close match and a very close finish. Very reminiscent of Jericho versus Michaels from WrestleMania 19, where a roll-up is pretty much the only thing that separates these two. If that is the case, I'll tip my hat and cheer. But the thing is, AJ Styles has to win here. Even if it is the closest win imaginable, it'll be a great stage to solidify a former TNA champion and surefire TNA Hall of Famer into the WWE limelight, and it'll be brilliant. Hopefully setting up a Samoa Joe feud in the future, which I am salivating at the prospect. Let's hope it'll all go down well, but it has to start with AJ Styles winning, and I won't accept much less. We now look at the first of the big 4 matches that are selling this event, hopefully, in WWE's words, like hotcakes. This first one is the triple threat match for the WWE Divas Championship, pitting Charlotte Flair against Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. And I am amazed. I am happy. I am over the moon that for the first time in a decade, we are getting a women's match on the grandest stage of them all that feels like it matters. Because since Mickie James versus Trish, the Divas matches on this amazing supercard have been utter rubbish. There has been barely anything good out of most of the Divas matches we have seen for the past 10 years. The only one that springs to mind for me is the sight of Maria Menounos, who had just broken her rib, selling like an absolute boss at WrestleMania 28. I will always praise her for that. Do not kill me for it. Nonetheless, this match is pretty easy to predict because I can sense that WWE wants to end Charlotte's reign that has lasted since Night of Champions at WrestleMania. You could tell this is where they're going to build it, and you can tell it was going to happen eventually. The only problem I have is choosing who to pick from between Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, because I have this in my head, and I know I'm a bit of a nutcase for predicting these things, that Bayley will make her debut after losing the NXT Women's title to Asuka on the Raw after WrestleMania. Imagine the idea of seeing Bayley come out there with wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube men and staring down the hopefully WWE Women's Champion, from the rumours I've heard, and will inevitably set up their feuds for the entire spring and summer period. The thing is, I like both Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks. More Becky because the term lass kicker is just so fun and punnerific, you can't even deny how happy I am right now. Nonetheless, I don't think Becky is going to win. She's going to be like the plucky underdog, going through these women's title matches in the future, where I don't think she's going to win until a moment, say SummerSlam, say a Survivor Series, or even next year's Mania, where after failing so many times, she gets it. Kind of like what I think they're doing with Dean Ambrose right now, knowing that the other Shield members have managed to win the damn thing. It's now time for Ambrose. Same thing for Becky. I mean, I know Bayley is so over as a face, she's going to have to win the damn title at some point in the next year. Looking at Becky, I don't think she's got it right now. She's over, she's got good mic skills, a loving personality, but if she's got Bayley to compete with, she's going to be pushed aside a little, and that's not a good thing, but it's inevitably going to be, my estimation, it's going to be quite a few months yet before Becky finally gets her hands on that championship. And honestly, Sasha Banks, from the moment she came through after the Royal Rumble Divas title match, it was pretty obvious that she was going to come through to WrestleMania, beat Charlotte and win it. The only thing is, we never expected them to stick Becky into the equation as well, because I was hoping, as I've mentioned before, I would have loved to have seen a steel cage match between Charlotte and Becky to cancel out Ric Flair completely. In fact, if this was a cage match on its own, I would have been even more happy. But will Ric Flair interfere? Oh yes. Will it backfire? Oh yes it will. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the boss is going to become the boss at WrestleMania. Charlotte is going to lose to Sasha Banks. And I may be wrong. We could have a surprise where Becky somehow manages to come out the winner, but it doesn't seem likely. See, for me, Sasha Banks has been codified since the beginning of this entire angle to be the one who will lift the belt. And you can imagine in Dallas, full of smart wrestling fans who have been watching NXT like mad, will pop like you have never heard for a women's title victory before on WWE television outside of Bayley's win against Sasha Banks at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. You can see where I'm going with this. If they want to play out Sasha Banks versus Bayley on television, Sasha Banks needs to be champion, and I'm going to stick with that prediction, even though there's a little niggle in my brain that says I might be wrong. We're just going to have to find out, won't we? Now we get to a match that I have been salivating over since the moment it was signed, and since the build-up has come through. I love this so freaking much, you have no idea. Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar in a no-holds-barred street fight. Oh my god. I am so jealous of my friends going out to Dallas to watch this sumbitch, because I would have lost my mind being in the crowd for this. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an old-fashioned brawl, a fight to the last man can barely stand. We are going to see blood all over the place, because the way this match has been building, and the way we know that Ambrose can take a beating, and we know how Lesnar can give out and take a blade job, we know this is going to be an absolutely insane match. Sure, it's not going to have a lot of crazy spots, we'll get to that later, but looking at this match from the outset, it is going to be the most aggressive, violent match we've seen on WWE television, on the main roster at least, since Lesnar beat Cena into a bloody pulp at Extreme Rules 2012. That puts it into perspective. I'm expecting this match to be aggressive, bloody, and just the absolute decimation of whatever human decency is. I want to see these two go out there and kill each other, because Ambrose doesn't give a damn, and Lesnar doesn't give a damn. They're going to be willing to put each other through unimaginable pain. And if you get a barbed wire and a whistle bat and a chainsaw given to you by the two most hardcore people this industry has ever seen outside of the Necro Butcher, you need to use them. And this entire match, this entire build has been so wonderful that it makes me really worry about who is going to win this match, because I know WWE want to keep Lesnar strong because he's an attraction. But hearing this out, apart from the pseudo loss to Undertaker at SummerSlam this past year, which many people really don't consider, and the Royal Rumble, mind you, as well, Lesnar hasn't lost on pay-per-view properly, de facto, in an actual one-on-one contest since, I believe, WrestleMania 29. Yeah, I'm gonna let that sink in for a moment. Sure, he lost the triple threat match at Fastlane, he lost the Royal Rumble, and he lost that SummerSlam main event through shady circumstances, which are not clean in the slightest. So maybe WWE want to see Lesnar get the win here, showing that just like at WrestleMania 13, Ambrose, like an Austin, would have testicular fortitude to not give up, even though this guy will want to fight on, and he will just pass out through the pain of being in a Kimura lock or whatever, and it will make Ambrose look like $1,000,000. The thing is, he's had so many matches this year that have made him look very good, and his story has been built up so well that Ambrose kind of needs the win here. I'm going to put this out right now. You look at Ambrose's matches at WrestleManias. Since he's come into the company on the main roster, he's had the Shield match in the opener of WrestleMania 29. He had another Shield match at WrestleMania 30. He was in the Intercontinental title ladder match, which he lost despite taking a very sick bump. The thing is, Dean Ambrose needs this. He needs to be launched. And we already know he's main event caliber. He's fought against Triple H last month in a title match in a glorified house show. He's fought against Roman Reigns for the title. He's fought against Seth Rollins for the title. The guy needs to be jettisoned to a point where with this match, he can then stake a claim to being a world champion within the next year. That is what needs to happen. And with the prospect of Seth Rollins returning by SummerSlam, we need Dean Ambrose to be solidified. And if he loses here, this will be really bad for him. And I don't want it to happen. I want Dean Ambrose, after putting himself through hell, to come out of it bloody, barely walking, but able to say, I beat the man who beat the streak. And that will make people who watch wrestling for WrestleMania only look at Dean Ambrose and say, my God, this guy is a tough motherfucker. I want to watch this guy because he beat Brock Lesnar in an out-and-out fight with weapons all over the place. That is more a beneficial thing for Ambrose than it would be for Lesnar, because Lesnar doesn't need to win anymore. His presence enough does justice for him. So I'm going to say it now. Ambrose will win. And if he doesn't, colour me speechless, everybody, because I can't see it any other way. Ambrose, Lesnar, Heyman, go out there and destroy each other. I am going to look forward to it. And if there's going to be a contender for match of the evening, it will be this one. Let's hope it plays out right and is given nearly 20 to 30 minutes, because I am looking forward to this so much. It's going to be fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached our bi-main event, our dual main event, so to speak. It may be on the poster, but it's not going to be the last one that I talk about. Triple H versus Roman Reigns for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now this is a polarizing match and then some, because we know very well that WWE could easily put their normal thinking caps on and go, you know what? The story has been playing this out nicely. Roman Reigns needs the victory. The thing is, though, even though I am a massive fan of the story playing out properly, that Dallas crowd inside AT&T Cowboy Stadium are going to boo the ever-loving crap out of Roman. If Brooklyn was any notion of an indicator, the people in Dallas, including some of my closest friends on the internet, are going to eat this man alive, to the point where they stopped doing his entrance through the crowd because they knew he wouldn't even be able to make it through the crowd inside that stadium. The thing is, I really want Roman to win, because I'm actually a decent fan of the guy. His mic work's not bad, his in-ring presence ain't bad, his moves aren't bad either, but he's the unlucky child of circumstance and poor booking, and I look at Roman and say, I want you to win. I want you to win so bad because it would tie up this story beautifully. But the thing is, that crowd won't allow it, and you haven't got a Money in the Bank cash-in to really capitalise this time. I know that Triple H and Roman Reigns are going to have a very physical, hard-hitting, intense psychological match. I know it is going to be good. Knowing that Triple H's ability, Reigns' ability in big match situations, it should all be in place for something special. But the thing is, even with all that there, with the storyline, with everything else playing into effect, I don't see Roman winning. And the reason behind that is my prediction for the Hell in a Cell. That is the prediction that is stopping me from putting Reigns in the win column. Because if you look at my predictions so far, if you've been keeping track, the pre-show has more heel victories than it does face victories. And if you look at my predictions so far, the only heel who has managed to win in this situation is Kevin Owens. And I know WrestleMania is a place for launching people, but if Reigns had not won the championship after Sheamus had his brief title reign that lasted, a couple of weeks, if that hadn't have happened and Triple H had won the title in the meantime by, some piece of crap similar to how him and Shawn Michaels traded the European title in 97, for example, if that had happened and Triple H is coming in and Reigns had not already won the title, Reigns would have been champion in this match, no question about it. I would have no worries. But the thing is, we need to have a heel victory somewhere. We need to have a heel victory somewhere. And Triple H winning, if Shane McMahon wins the Hell in a Cell, would be amazing, because not only would Shane be in charge of Triple H as the champion and the COO and all that jazz, it'll prove so amazing that I just feel that this match is too predictable to have Roman Reigns win. It needs to have something, and I can tell Stephanie getting involved, possibly eating a spear, because I've been waiting for that since this entire build ever took the turn at TLC. And not to mention we could have interference from The Rock, of course. Could he possibly turn heel? Could John Cena turn heel for the sake of the corporate entities? As I have heard from around places. Could we see a new star come in and take Reigns down and screw him? I mean, the thing is, all I can sense is this match for me will not main event this card. I don't care if it's on the poster, I don't care if it's anywhere in the promotion as the highlight, the main event, as Michael Cole has called it. To me, This match ain't the main event. This is not going to close out the show. You're not having Roman Reigns with confetti strewing everywhere, with him holding the title, having the crowd boo the crap out of your show. Remember what happened with The Rock and John Cena a couple of years ago at WrestleMania 29? You don't want a repeat of that, do you? So inevitably, with that in my mind, and just the overwhelming evidence that says I'm going to ditch my idea of psychological perfection and go for a Triple H victory. It may seem unlikely, but when I look at it, it makes more sense. It makes more sense if the result of the Hell in a Cell match goes the way I predict. And speaking of that Hell in a Cell, it is time to talk about it. Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker inside Hell in a Cell. I can't believe this match is happening still after over a month of it being built and slotted into place. It's insane. Now, of course, if Shane McMahon wins, he gets control of Monday Night Raw and seemingly day-to-day control over the WWE completely. And if Undertaker, of course, loses, by looking at it, his WrestleMania career is over, which by de facto means his entire career is done. And also, Vince McMahon gets the contents of Shane's lockbox, and that was discarded after a week. Who cares? Nonetheless, this match is incredibly hard to predict. And I know I say this most times a big main event match comes up. But the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, this match is probably one of the most divisive I have ever seen. It is arguably one of the toughest matches to predict because either man winning would be actually beneficial either way. But the thing is, in the case of Taker winning, it prolonged his career, re-solidifies WrestleMania as his home, his legacy is retained, and inevitably Shane McMahon's return is all for nothing. But then again, it makes Taker look strong going into his true retirement match, whether that should happen. But the thing is, I know the one thing that's more of a talking point for Taker, though, when I look at Shane and think, people are questioning, why is Taker on Vince's side? Because people are already saying, look, doesn't make any sense. It's awful. It's half-assed booking. The thing is, he's not there for Vince. We already know that. And the thing is, as a wrestler, as a person, as a character, Undertaker has stuck with the WWE through the Monday Night Wars, through the thick and thin. He has been the leader of that locker room since 1991. Or possibly 1990 if I got my dates right. The thing is, Taker has been a loyal subject of this company for 25 freaking years. So he's not loyal to Vince, but he's loyal to the WWE name. He's fighting for the company's future, not for Vince's future. That makes it more prevalent to me, and actually makes it more understanding. So many people don't understand that. And if they got round that, they'd understand that Taker is not Vince's bitch, as Vince highlights routinely. It's Taker being loyal to the company he has never left. And he will go down to its dying day when Shane takes control if he wins. Now, looking at what Shane looks to gain from winning this thing, we see a new authority figure, new storylines, possible draft lottery to brand extend once again. We have all kinds of rivalries, and like I said, if Triple H wins and Shane wins, ooh, that is going to prove scintillating television. And the thing is, this match is going to be very interesting to watch because it's Hell in a Cell. It's Taker in his playground against a guy who last time he was in it got mutilated and had his head shoved up Big Show's ass. I mean, yeah, what more can I say, but WWE doesn't want you to remember that. In the case of this match, I can sense what's going to happen. Taker will get more offense the longer it goes, as Shane will tire out after being through the punishment. And we can expect some big spots, and I'm hoping we do. We are going to see some big spots, ladies and gentlemen. Whether it's off the cell, off the Jumbotron, the biggest giant screen in the whole damn world, we're going to see a lot of crazy shit in this match. And it is going to look like an absolutely glorified mess. I understand that. But if the psychology plays out right, where Shane is bloody, beaten, exhausted, broken, and some people come in to help him win, the psychology will go through the roof, similar to when Shawn Michaels beat Taker in the inaugural match back at Bad Blood 97. This is the kind of thing that people have been predicting for a long time, and if it does happen, oh my god, the controversy. I mean, I personally would love this match to take place without interference, but it's going to happen. Is it going to be Vince? Obviously, he probably will. The Bullet Club, Finn Balor, Sting. Who is going to do this? We don't know, I don't know, and it's what makes this match exciting and unpredictable, because even though it looks like, from the offset, that Shane is going to win this match through hook or by crook, there is still a part of me that just says it can't be done. Taker was beaten by Brock Lesnar, and he then gets beaten by Shane. But just like Dean Ambrose, Shane is one tough son of a bitch. He will go out there, and he will give you a fight. He doesn't care how much punishment he takes. He got thrown through glass by Kurt Angle. He's jumped off so many Titantrons, I'm amazed he can still walk, let alone compete in this kind of match. And that's why people are unsure whether Taker will win or not, because Taker winning is just a formality outside of the one loss. But seeing Shane do it, many people see as unrealistic, without them realising what Shane McMahon as a character is. And I don't really care how it is done, as long as it plays to the psychology of this match, that the pacing isn't obstructed too much, it doesn't feel like it's rushed, and we get something that tops off this WrestleMania cake with a lovely cherry. Because you see, I feel if Shane is going to win this match, this will main event the card. This is the match that people want to see. This is the one that isn't divisive, like Reigns versus Triple H, where the alignment is swapped because people hate one of them. These are two of the most respected men in all of professional wrestling, and they're going into a match full of violence for the control of the company and Taker's future. This matchup is going to be nuts, and I'm very jealous of my friends who get to see the Hell in a Cell in person, you lucky bastards. But the thing is, I have to predict a winner. I have to predict a winner. I know people will want Taker to win, because to them, Taker losing to Shane makes no sense, but in regards to the story and WWE needing a change of the guard, and something different to spice up what has been a lackluster Monday night product for most of the last 2 years, bar a few exceptions, mind you. We need that change. And I have been predicting we're going to get a change of the company, control of the company storyline for 2 years. I never expected this to be the way they do it. But the thing is, I am so happy it's happening, to the point where I am going to flat out state it. Shane McMahon will win. We are going to get a new authority figure, and whatever happens from there is going to be me with my eyes glued to that screen. Because Shane McMahon is going to be in one last match, and if this is his final hurrah, it is going to be the WrestleMania moment of all. And it's going to be his biggest match in quite a long time. Because the last time a match of this magnitude featured Shane, he beat his own dad to a pulp. So, yeah. This is going to be a match that Shane will be remembered for. It'll give WWE fresh footage. They want it to look good. And if this match isn't good, I'll be heavily disappointed. But Shane McMahon will win, which means, in my opinion, Triple H will win and walk out of WrestleMania still the world champion. If that is the case, you have no idea how happy I will be. But as long as this Hell in a Cell match delivers on the intensity, the blood, the violence, the psychology, the move variety of all the crazy crap that both men can do, the crowd being into it from the start, the pace being fast and then slow as the punishment takes toll, and hopefully with all that, my enjoyment will be so high, this could be a 4-star plus, possibly maybe a 5-star match if done right. But hopefully, Shane McMahon will win, and we can finally witness the change that I have been harping on about. The thing is, WrestleMania is a place for change. So why not deliver the change in the match with the stipulation that damn well will guarantee it? We need the change, so why not bring it? WrestleMania is built for it, and if you don't, there will be many disappointed fans, including myself, wondering what or where will the future of this company be now? And with that in mind, Shane McMahon, you are going to be the man come the end of WrestleMania 32. So there you go, guys. Whew. WrestleMania 32 predictions are done. I hope you're all looking forward to this event as much as I am, because just like WrestleMania 29, I'll be having a few friends around ready to make this a brilliant night to watch. And I'll be reviewing it at the same time. Who would have thunk it? Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think is going to win in these matches? Because, okay, the card may not look fantastic, but at least it'll give a lot of talking points once the night is over. Do you think that my predictions are wrong? Do you think that you have a better idea of what's going to happen than I do? Do you think there's going to be some guy out there who's like that guy at WrestleMania 30 where he said Brock will beat the streak and I shrugged it off only to look like a complete arse a day or two later? Are you going to be like that, spoiling my prediction fun and saying at the end of the day, Fred hasn't got any of his predictions right? All you have to do is put your opinions down in the comments section below, and I cannot wait to see what ideas you guys come up with. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back up with my review, hopefully on around Tuesday or Wednesday. And inevitably, if you want to see that, and you hope you don't miss out on it, you can click the subscribe button down there, and I would gratefully appreciate it. This video has already gone on long enough, at nearly 50 minutes. That's because it's WrestleMania, these predictions do take a while. Nonetheless, I'd better get out of here, and I will see you all midweek for my WrestleMania review and results. It should all be grand. Anyway, I have been Freddie Thomas, you've been people listening, this has been my WrestleMania 32 predictions video for the CC Network, and I will see you all next time. Cheers!